Hello again. All right, hopefully I've got that sorted out. I'm not sure why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, that looks better. Okay. All right, so again, I'm Tracy Frith. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta. And today I'm going to be working with the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. So that bundle includes this stamp set, and there's also dies. And for most of this year, this has not been a bundle that you could order with the 10% discount. But starting this month, Stampin' Up! Is doing a sale on some of the embossing products, and they've put this back together, and now it's a 20% discount. So great time to get it if you didn't already have it. And so these are the dies, and there's one more little one that I'm going to be using today. And I'll show you a couple things with this set, or from this set. So the card we're going to do today is this one. And I've spent the last few days this week doing some cards up. I found someone who was doing cards for Ukraine, and just to, not necessarily to get them to Ukraine, if that could happen, that would be fantastic, but just to kind of show some support and some love. So I decided that I would do that this week as well, and it just so happened that that bundle went on sale as of yesterday as well. So it kind of worked out well. So this is the outside of the card, and I decorated the inside just a little bit as well. So we're going to do that one today, and then I'll show you another one that I had done in case you hadn't seen it on my posts the other day. Let me bring my stuff over here. All right, so supplies for this one, we are going to use, let me just get everything out of the way. This is the other little die that we're going to use from that set, so it just outlines the little sunflower. All right, so I have a couple of scraps of basic white, so we'll use those for the two little sunflowers and the greeting. I have a piece of Bumblebee Cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I have a piece of white, basic white, again, that's the same size. Oh, it looks like I'm missing one piece of white. I have a piece of Night of Navy. That's my card base, so that's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and it looks like I forgot to cut out my other little piece of white. So I'm going to go do that right away here. I also have a little piece of ribbon. So this is the denim 3/8 inch denim ribbon from the mini catalog, and it is about 3 3/4, so 3 3/4 ish long. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I have another piece of Bumblebee, and this I actually just cut off. It was a piece that I just trimmed off the edge of this piece. So it is 5 1/4, and I think it's about 1/2 inch. This card I had a smaller piece, so it's skinnier. And I ran that through an embossing folder. Now I'm going to do that with the big piece later as well, so you'll be able to see that. All right, let me get that piece of white cut. So the white cardstock piece is going to be 3 inches by 4 1/4. Let's get that cut. So 4 1/4 by 3. And that will go, that's kind of the focal point on the front of the card. All right, that's done. Oh, good morning, Mom. Okay, and what I'm going to do next, I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper out here. All right, so I'm going to start with this piece, and what I'm going to do with that, I'm going to get out my Night of Navy ink and my blending brush. All right, and this was a little bit tricky. I found that I was getting a really heavy color, so you just want a really light touch with this. So for the blending brush, I just rub it a little bit over the top of my ink, and you want to tap it off. And this one I want to tap off. Usually I just do one little tap. This one I'm going to tap off quite a bit. And then you just kind of blend it into that piece of cardstock. And you see I got a little bit of a darker piece in the corner there. That's what I was somewhat trying to avoid. Sometimes I find if you start off the page, like if I start over here and then bring my brush onto the page, it doesn't do that as much. Do just a little bit more here. Bottom corner here. So I just wanted to add a little bit of color here. It doesn't have to be a ton. And after I did it, I was doing it because of the blue and yellow. Those were the colors I was trying to go for. But once I got it done, I thought it kind of looks like clouds behind my sunflowers. So I like that idea. All right, so I think I can get rid of that piece for, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it in there. So that's my first piece. Now I'm gonna take another piece of, one of my scrap pieces of white cardstock, and I'm gonna use the little sunflower and my Memento black, the Tuxedo black ink, because I'm gonna do a little bit of coloring with blends on this piece. So I'm going to stamp that on there. I'm just going to put that piece aside for a second, do the rest of the stamping. There's not much left. Hello, Carol. Oh, and thank you. Yes, I know I've been having, it sounds weird to say, but I've been having fun doing these cards. It's nice to have a purpose and to do something different. And you feel lots of times really helpless with stuff, and this is just one thing that, you know, it's not a big thing, but just one thing that you can do, right? All right, so I just did the greeting, and for this one I just chose the Know That You Are Loved. This is also from the Sunflower set. And that's all the stamping I'm going to do. And then I'm going to let this dry a bit. I find that my navy ink is really juicy. So I find sometimes if I go too fast to cut it or whatever, I end up smudging it. So I'm going to let that sit and dry off a little bit. And I'm going to bring this sunflower back in, and I'm going to just color this with some blends. Bring those out. So I am using today my Daffodil Blends. I think these are soft suede. Yeah, soft suede. And today I chose soft succulent. The original card I did, I used Evening Evergreen. So I'll just show you the difference. I did color one already, so it's gonna look like that. So it's just a little bit of a lighter green. I wanted to try the succulent today and see what it looked like. Oh, Carol, so you have a fair amount of Ukrainian, and your grandparents were from Kiev, right? I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with the dark daffodil. And what I like to do, I try and usually start with the dark version of the blends. And all of these little dark lines that are in my sunflower petals, that's what I'm going to go over with that dark blend. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Excuse me, sorry. I have asthma. I took my puffer this morning, and it always makes it like I have a frog in my throat when I've done with that. So hence my little, as my brother calls it, my old man cough. Trying to get cleared out of my throat. All right. So just going over those little the shaded areas with the dark blends, and then I'll go over the whole thing with the light. So Carol, do you have family left in the Ukraine, or are most of them now in Canada or somewhere else in the world, I guess? Ancient family secret. Yep, I'm sure lots of us have a bit of ancient family secret heritage in there, right? So I'm just going over it now with the light Daffodil Blends. And it just gives it a little bit of shading or dimension, I guess. I'm not an artist by any means as far as color mixing and shading and whatnot goes, but this makes it easy to pretend you are. I'll have to let you guys know too, I just this morning got a big box from Stampin' Up! From UPS. So hopefully tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'll do it in the morning or in the evening, we'll see how the day goes, but I will try and do a quick unboxing video. I'm most excited about my magnet board that should be in this order. Alright, and now I've got the soft suede, the dark, and I'm just going to go the center of the sunflower here as a darker circle, so I'm just kind of going to go around that with the dark blends. Some of the other ones I tried doing a little bit around the outside with the dark. I think I like it just in the center. There's enough dark in the ink itself, and it's too hard to go and dot all the little dots with the dark. So then I just took the light and excuse me, just colored around all the rest of it and in the very center. And with the blends too, if you just have the one for whatever reason, some of them after a while the ink will start to, you'll use up the ink and it'll start to dry out a little bit. So you can use the light and just go back in and do a second layer, and it will also give you a bit of shading by doing it that way. That's the alcohol inks are all about layering. Yeah, Carol, it's, I mean, obviously now is not a great time, but it's neat to be able to go. I know a lot of my family's in Great Britain and that area, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to go with my mom a long time ago now and meet some of them, and we've had a few that have come to visit in Canada. But so I did the same thing on the leaves. I went in with the dark and did the areas that are already shaded with the stamps, and then I'll just go in with the light and color kind of and blend everything together. And that's my sunflower. All right, so I'm going to take these two pieces and just trim them off with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And while I'm doing that, I'll actually, you know what, I will bring it out onto the table so that you can all see it, because I'm going to do a couple things with this. So, I said that Stampin' Up! Is doing a promotion right now with some of the embossing material. So one of the things that is also involved in this promotion is the mini version of this machine. So there's a machine that's, I don't know if it's about half the size, half the width of this. And it is on sale right now for 20% off. So there's lots of sets in the catalog and in the mini catalogs that will work with that. They just have to be a little bit narrower. And so if it's something that you're interested in and getting started with embossing, now is a great time to make that purchase. There's a whole bunch of bundles of stamps and embossing folders, or stamps and die sets. I'm not sure if there's embossing folders or not. I can't remember. I was looking at it yesterday. But there's definitely dies and stamp sets. So if you're something that you're interested in, all of those things right now are 20% off. Okay, I need my other plate. There it is. All right, so for this, I'm doing the cutting with the dies. And you always get lots of snap, crackles, and pops with this. All right, so I've cut out my sunflower, so I have 2 of those now. That die aside, and I also cut the greeting. So with the greeting, I don't think I said, I used the Tasteful Labels dies. Yep, Tasteful Labels dies for the greeting. So there you go. So those are those pieces. Now I'm going to take these plates away. And I'll bring in my other 2. So I've got the number 1 base plate that comes with the machine and the number 4 plate. And this is what you're going to use for the embossing folders. So I'm using, to emboss, the Hive 3D embossing folder. So it just comes out looking like, I don't know if you can see it on this piece, like a little bit of a beehive. So I'm going to do my large bumblebee piece in that. And I'll just explain quickly how we do these. I try to get it lined up a little bit straight because it does have a pattern that you'll see a little bit if it's crooked, but you know what? It's a beehive, their nature, they're not always going to be perfect. So when you do this, you want to make sure the fold of your embossing folder, the folded side of your embossing folder, goes through the machine first. And then the piece, the part that opens up is the last thing that goes through. Okay, so I'm going to put that this way so the fold is towards the center of my machine. Put the number 4 plate on top and then just run it through. And it's important to make sure you do that. If you end up putting the other side through first, you can wreck your embossing folders. They can break. So you just want to be careful of that. Okay, I'll move that out of the way. All right, and then when you open it up, you have your beautiful embossed piece. All right, I think we can put it all together now. Let's bring out all the pieces here. All right, oh, and I forgot to say the Night of Navy piece is scored at 4 1/4. So that's my standard card size. And with this embossing folder too, you can choose which side you like better to put on the outside. I chose the, I guess, the deboss side where there's the indentations or more of the indentations, but you could do that side as well. Totally up to you. Okay, let's get those over there. So first I'm going to build my front here. And I took some dimensionals. So the back of my sunflowers, I'm going to add dimensionals. I don't know if you can see this one sunflower, the one I did off camera, has a little bit more of a jagged edge on this side than the other one. When I ran it through the embossing folder the first time, it slipped a little bit and I had a huge white space on this side. So I put it back in to try and get rid of some of that white, which worked not too bad. It just gave me some extra little points on that side. Being that it's a sunflower, it doesn't matter so much, and they're probably going to end up being covered up anyways. All right, so this one I'm going to put there. I just angled it a little bit so the leaves are pointing to the left. Now the second one, because it's going to go a little bit on top, I don't want to put dimensionals where it's going to cover up the other sunflower. It'll just make it really bulky. So I just kind of make sure I know where that part is and add the dimensionals on the rest of it here. Yeah, I'll do one more. And then I'll just add a little bit of the liquid glue. On that edge. And hopefully I get it kind of where I want it. All right, I'll take the dimensionals off the backs. And then I just want to get this one lined up. So they're going to overlap just a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to also add dimensionals to the back of my greeting. And because I'm going to put the ribbon underneath, I'm just going to make sure that I have it kind of in the four corners. And then I don't know if I actually needed it or not, but I ran a strip. With ribbon, I like to use the Stampin' Seal. You could probably use the liquid adhesive as well. I find that this works really well, so I've just kind of always stuck with this one. So I just ran a strip down the center here. I don't know if I really needed to have that, because after I stopped to think about it, I was like, well, this is raised up on dimensional, so I don't know if it's actually going to stick to the ribbon anyways. But just in case, I put it on anyway. And then I'm going to take my ribbon piece, and I'm just going to add my adhesive directly onto the back of my ribbon for this one. Normally I would put it on the cardstock if I was wrapping it around, but this one's just sitting on the front. So I want to make sure that I've got adhesive on the ribbon and it's in the right spot. So if it's on the ribbon, it doesn't matter. It will always be in the right spot. All right. Okay, it was a little bit fiddly, but it works. Okay, and then what I did from there is I took my ribbon and I kind of just lined my ribbon up where I wanted it. So I kind of centered it on this piece, left to right. Oh goodness, there we go. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight because it's going to be covered up anyways. And then I just added my greeting piece over top of that. I think I've got it mostly straight. All right, now I'll take this piece. I'm going to use my liquid glue again on the back. And I do really like the liquid glue for when I have an embossed piece like this. I'm sure the seal would work just as well, but in my mind, the liquid glue kind of gets into all the little nooks and crannies a little bit better. Okay, and then I always like to stand up. I don't know if you can hear my chair rolling around when I'm adding my pieces on so that I can get a better view and hopefully get them straight. Okay, so that's the front. And then I can add this whole piece onto my card. So I hope everyone's had a good week so far. We are at my other job. We are full on into competition season. If you don't know, I coach competitive gymnastics. So we were at a competition. I was at a competition all weekend in Spruce Grove, Friday, Saturday. I didn't go on Sunday. On Sunday, I did a course online. I took a course to be able to teach coaches how to coach. So my weekend was filled with gymnastics. This weekend we don't have competition, so I'll actually get to do a little bit of stamping and hopefully spend some time with my grandson. All right, and then I just took the little strip that I embossed and I'm going to put that on the inside piece. So I'm just putting that on the right hand edge. I just lined it up with the edge of the cardstock and glued it on, and then I can glue that whole piece onto the inside. And while I'm doing that, I'll try and talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on at Stampin' Up! Right now. I meant to print stuff off and I forgot. That's okay. My printer is only in black and white, so you can't see all the colors anyways. So I will try and post some pictures later. So I talked about the sale. So it's called the Savings in Bloom. Sorry, I just got glue on the back of my card. Let's just get that off of there. It's called Savings in Bloom. And it, again, includes the mini Stampin' Cut and emboss machine and a whole bunch of Stampin' Die bundles. And all of those are 20% off right now. And then they also just came out, you've probably seen a couple of pictures that I've posted. My mom and I put together the Light Up the Candles kit, card kit. They've come out with a new card kit that is called the Robot Buddies kit. So the card, it has all different little robots, and I think it has all the supplies to make 9 cards. And I did notice that it also has in it, usually the card kits come with 1 ink spot. This one comes with 2, so you'll actually get 2 little mini ink pads of 2 different Stampin' Up! Colors. So that's a bit of a great deal. I'm just going to try and take a little bit of that adhesive off the back of the card. So a rubber eraser works great for that if you ever do that. All right, so there's our card for today. There's my original, so you can see the differences in the 2 greens. I'm not sure which one I like better. I like them both. So this one has Soft Succulent. This one has Evening Evergreen. Oh, I forgot, and I just noticed I forgot my rhinestones on this one. So I'm using the Champagne Rhinestone Basic Jewels today, just because I had a hint of the yellow in them. You could use the regular ones that don't have any color. You can use them as is, or you can color them with your blends if you want. There it is, my Take Your Pick tool. So I just added a little one on the greeting. Another little one if I can get a hold of it. Over there, and a little bit bigger one I put kind of in the top corner here. There, you gotta have a little bit of bling. All right, so that's my second sunflower card for Ukraine. Oh, and I was talking about the robot kit. So yes, so it's a really cute little kit. And then we also have a new set that is, I believe it's called Waves of the Ocean. And it's got dies and stamps and designer paper. It's got some beautiful different colored, there's I think 2 or 3 different colors of blue in foil paper. It's really pretty. So if you like the ocean and waves and water, that's a great set. I will post a picture of that. I haven't ordered that one yet, but it is next on my list for sure. So this is the card that I made, I think I did this one on Sunday or Monday. So another one using that same sunflower bundle. The greeting is from a different set. I used the Painted Textures embossing folder on this one. And I used the large sunflower stamp and dies for this. So there's an outline die that cuts out your large sunflower stamp. And then there's a detailed die that cuts out, so I've got this over top that cuts out all of the little petals. And the same for the leaves. There's a die that cuts out the leaves, and then there's a more detailed die that cuts out the kind of the outline and the veins. I don't think I did anything on the inside of this one, at least not yet. No. Okay. So that's just another sample using that kit, or that set. And my last thing is, and I did remember this week to do my draw. So winner of last week's card is my neighbor Patty. So Patty, if you're watching or watching the replay, I will at some point deliver this card to you. So this was the one using the Sunshine and Rainbows designer paper. So Patty gets that one. So just a reminder, if you share or comment on my videos, the next week, usually I will give away the card that I made in that video. So next week, someone will get to win this card. All right. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week and are able to do some crafting at some point. Oh, and watch for tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to try and come on either in the morning or in the evening and do a quick unboxing video to see what my magnet board looks like. All right. Have a great day, everyone.